Plaintiff Stephen Byram says he and the defendant met through a kink organization called Pups and Handlers, and the defendant is the acting president. Stephen claims he and the defendant were roommates, but Stephen's suing him today for unpaid rent. Defendant Ricky McGee says when he got out of the Marines, he was suffering from PTSD and had recently come out as a gay man. Ricky claims he joined the Pups and Handlers organization because it was a safe space for people to express themselves and participate in human pup play. And he's countersuing Stephen for an illegal eviction.
Start with you.
All right, Your Honor, Rick, also known as Scuff McGee, we met.
What do you call him?
Scuff. It's a nickname of his. We met in 2016 through friends of ours. We're also part of a kink organization known as Seattle Pups and Handlers. I believe the defendant would probably.
You want to tell me about?
Yes, sir. Seattle Pups and Handlers is a 501c7 sociable organization within the gay community in Seattle. We are involved heavily within charitable organizations throughout the city and region, as well as it's just an aspect for people to learn about human pup play.
Okay, go ahead.
So we belong to the same organization. He is the current acting president, and in 2016 he was also given the title of Northwest Puppy. Both of these positions come with some certain social obligations.
Like what?
He would travel to our sister organizations in Vancouver and Portland.
Do what?
He acted as a liaison for our organization to put together group events with both of those organizations.
What type?
So
I'm just letting you expose the organization does. I'm not trying to be funny or anything else. That's why I'm just asking you, what do you all do? He said you all are a nonprofit organization, and so I'm trying to let you all tell what you do. What have you all done with your organization to help others or to help?
We put on social events. We also work within the gay community to donate to certain other charitable organizations.
Like what? Sir?
Certain AIDS foundations, things of that nature. We've also given over $5,000 to Wolf Haven, which is a wolf sanctuary, as well as last year we gave almost $6,000 to the Humane Society.
He must done come to the meetings.
That's right. Yeah.
You need to come to the meetings so you can find out some of the fine work that the organization is doing under his leadership. Hope you all re-elect him, because it doesn't sound like anybody other than him today and here is doing anything. Go ahead. And your lawsuit is regarding what? The rent?
Yes, Your Honor. Because of his positions, I believe that he was committed more to his social obligations and the travel that he was performing, as opposed to taking care of the financial obligations at his home, which included paying the rent to myself.
Okay, what was the agreement on rent, and how did he violate that agreement or break that agreement?
In August, we signed a lease on the order of $2,323 per month. We agreed to split it 50-50. I have text to that.
Okay, and what months has he failed to pay?
He has failed to pay from January until middle of May in 2017.
Sir, what do you say to this?
Sir, I joined the Marines when I was 18, right out of school. 11 years in the active duty military, as well as serving worldwide. When I got out of the military in 2007, I was just trying to figure out who I was. I came out as gay shortly before I got out. I found the pup and handler scene, which is a space for people to escape.
Let me back you up.
Yes, sir.
And you know better than I, but you don't just suddenly become gay, do you?
No, sir. I've always been gay. I've always known it.
So you say you came out gay.
I came out, as in I came out.
Came out. All
yes,
right.
Sir.
You told you let everyone
yes,
know.
Sir. Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry. I don't know what I'm saying.
I apologize
because
for that,
the way
sir.
it sounded, I went into the military.
No.
And I came out gay.
It's amazing what the military does nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. I had to back that up.
No,
we got to clarify that.
Yes, sir. No, I grew up.
That's not my understanding.
Yes, sir. I grew up in a very rural area of the South.
Right.
And so I grew up in a time when it still was not acceptable to be gay.
Absolutely.
So at 26 years old, when I came out, shortly after I got out of the military, And I was trying to find who I was. I was suffering with PTSD, as well as a lot of depression, and I did not know where my place in the community was. And that's when I found, as what he mentioned, the pups and handlers scene, which really is, it's a community-based group, basically, where people to go and express themselves through various types of play, socializations, and things of that nature. In 2009, when I moved to Seattle, is when I found Seattle Pups and Handlers, the one that he's speaking of, and I started working with them. Did a lot of was having a hard time, came out of a really rough relationship, so I was kind of bouncing around trying to find my way with that. Began as part of the board for CPAW just over 3 years ago, became the president in 2016, as well as I did win a regional title of the Northwest Puppy Contest. Yeah. Whereas the travel for that was me going to the various areas such as Vancouver, BC, Oregon, Idaho, things like that, and teaching headspace classes, teaching consent classes on proper and safe consent, as well as safe sex classes and things of that nature.
Okay.
Through all my travel was paid for through fundraisers. I never came out of my own money to pay for any of that. In 2016, he and I also met through a mutual friend of the organization, where we were both looking for roommates at the time and decided to move in with each other. So from there, I began with my job. My hours were fluctuating. Right after Christmas, I was not getting any hours. I was having a hard time making rent, as well as having a hard time paying child support, because I do have 2 children as well. And my focus was on taking care of my kids. And all my travel was paid for through the organization, not through me. And there was times when I didn't even eat, even when I was still living there, which he was aware of this, because every penny I had would go towards taking care of what I could. And it just got to a point where I couldn't do it. So he and I worked out to where I would try to pay him back, and we would go through that route. And then I got the notification that he found someone else to rent my room, and that I had 2 weeks to move out. He told me I could stay on the couch, but as someone said, the spine fuse and rods and screws, sleeping on the couch is not necessarily the best for me. I really need a bed. It's much easier on me. And so through help from a friend of mine, I ended up moving into an RV that he helped me purchase, which I lived out of, basically homeless, living out of that for from May until about a month ago.
So what do you say to the rent, though, from January to May?
Yes, sir.
When did he tell you the roommate was available to move in?
2 weeks prior to.
I know. What month is that?
That would be April.
All right.
Yeah, towards the end of April.
All right. So let's talk about January, February, March.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you pay that?
I didn't have money to pay it, sir. I was only getting.
So you didn't have
15
money
hours
to
a week.
pay it for the first 3 months, but the other months you blame on the new roommate?
No, there was no new roommate. I was kicked out.
I know, because a new roommate was coming.
Correct.
So there was a new roommate.
Right.
You're talking about there's no new roommate. It is.
For him,
you
yes,
didn't
sir.
pay him January, February, March. So he said, I'm bringing in a new roommate who will pay. I will be nice enough to let you stay here on the couch or wherever, but I have to move someone in this room who will pay. And you said no, or you said yes?
I didn't really have much to say, sir.
Yes, you did. You could have said, I'm not moving until you give me a court-ordered eviction. That's what you could have said.
Yes,
but
sir.
What did you say?
I said I would be out, sir.
All right, you consented.
And I have the text to that as well.
All this protesting and talking in circles in here, you have a text. What's your counterclaim, sir? Your counterclaim is that it was an illegal eviction. How was it illegal? Particularly if he's showing me something where you agreed to pay.
Because through our lease agreement with Invitation Homes, he and I both were on the lease. He was not on the lease by himself, nor was he the main leaseholder. Mm-hmm. So he was not authorized to have me move out due to our lease agreement.
He told you he wanted you to, and you did it on your own, remember?
But if he rents my room out and said he already has somebody moving in, that I need to be out of the room.
He told you he was going to do it first, and you didn't protest. All you have to do is protest. You can't not protest something, and then when it happens, oh, it shouldn't have happened. Someone says to you, I'm going to do such and such. They're seeking your consent. And whatever your answer is will affect the outcome. He says, I'm moving someone else in so I can get some rent paid. You could have said, no, you're not. He gonna sleep on the floor if he do come in here. He ain't getting my room. Could have said that. Or you could have said, don't talk to me till you get a court order. Don't come in here talking to me. Matter of fact, get out my room. I'll give you that rent when I got it now. Otherwise, go tell it to the judge. So instead, on April 3rd, you say, I have to move so you can get someone in that can pay rent. You suggest moving. Like I said, you don't have to move out, but until you square your debt to me or John moves out, the room is his. Sorry, man. Sir, you're the one even suggested that he move a roommate in because you couldn't pay anymore. Now you want to sue him for that, for what you suggested that he do. Judgment for the plaintiff, $5,000. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
I'm hoping that we can move forward after this. He was a good friend, and I believe he still is.
I think that time has passed. I tried to work, and he wouldn't work with me. Instead, he moved somebody else in and made me homeless. So.